Good, happy Sunday morning, March 10, 2019. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this week's edition of Politics with Riley King. Let's begin. First up, for New Hampshire Republicans and Democrats, key to victory starts with grassroots. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9, Mike Cronin.
At the Hillsborough County Republican Committee meeting, members are looking ahead to 2020.
As you can see today, we had about 60 people on a Saturday morning meeting so we can plan the next 2 years and how we can regain more seats in the State House.
This group meets once a month. It's just one of the grassroots efforts to connect with voters year-round in New Hampshire.
And we've got to articulate to them why the Republicans can make their lives better.
What we're seeing is a reemergence of the grassroots across our states. Everyone from the young Republicans to established groups are being activated again. They're seeing that the Republicans are the values that represent them.
New Hampshire Democrats also emphasize the importance of community activism.
You're coming to them as a volunteer, not a paid person, but someone who cares about the community and the future of New Hampshire.
These volunteers in Concord organized for a city council special election.
When someone comes and knocks on your door, and that person is your neighbor or somebody who lives in the community with you, their message is that much stronger.
Anytime there's an election and we got young people running, certainly New Hampshire and Democrats are organizing our base, getting our folks out to knock doors, because those one-on-one interactions really do make a huge impact in these local elections.
They differ on policy, but Democrats and Republicans do agree young voters can be the difference at the polls.
I think we're learning in New Hampshire that young people are starting to recognize their power. We're going to be the largest voting bloc in 2020.
The policies we're putting in place today, they're going to have to live with and pay the bills for.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Raymond Buckley elected to 7th term as New Hampshire Democratic Party chair. Longtime party leader faced no opposition. Lasky wins contested race for second vice chair. Members of the Democratic State Committee made it official on Saturday, electing Raymond Buckley, New Hampshire Democratic Party chair, for the 7th time. Committee members meeting at the New Hampshire Institute of Politics unanimously chose Buckley, who faced no opposition, for the 6th time in his 7 elections. He won his first 2-year term in 2007. The party also elected State Senator Martha Fuller Clark as first vice chair for the 7th time as well. She was also unopposed. In a contested race for the post for second vice president, former State Senator Betty Lasky defeated incumbent former State Rep Mo Boxley. In another contested race, Martri Chatterjee retained her seat as party secretary, fending off a challenger from T. Jashia Silvergam. Also elected without opposition was Treasury Brian Rapp. Elected to Party Rules Committee were State Rep Rennie Cushing and Easter Dickinson, and Ryan Mahoney and Jean Martin, and former reps Mindy Miser and Jackie Weatherspoon. The state committee unanimously passed a resolution reorganizing that high school Democrats should have representation on local, state, and national Democratic committees. Buckley, who has also been a member of the Democratic National Committee Executive Committee for 18 years, is the second longest serving state Democratic Party chairman in the nation. Only Michael Madigan of Illinois has served longer. In a statement provided to WMUR after his re-election, Buckley said this. Take a look. And it's here and right here. Okay, and there you go on. Look at his statement. Buckley is also former president of the Association of State Democratic Chairs, the first openly gay political activist to serve as president of the ASDC and as vice chair of the DNC. Buckley ran unsuccessfully for the DNC chair in 2017. During his term as state chair, Democrats have won 10 of 13 statewide races and 9 of 12 congressional races. The party has also built up its finance and grassroots organization operations to unpredicted levels. 2 weeks ago, the party raised about $400,000 at its 60th annual McIntyre Shaheen 100 Club event, which was attended by more than 90 people. In 2007, Buckley succeeded Kathy Sullivan as party chair. Sullivan had served as chair since 1999 and is currently the state's party Democratic National Committee woman. Since 2001, while 2 people have served as state Democratic chairs, the New Hampshire Republican Party has had 11 chairs: John Dowd, Jane Milmek, Warren Henderson, Wayne Semprine, Ferguson Cullen, John H. Sununu, Jack Kimball, Jennifer Horn, Warren McDonald, Jeannie Forster, and McDonald again. Following Forster's resign in June of 2018, the Republican State Committee elected Stephen Sapernek to a 2-year term as chair on January 26. Colorado Senator Michael Bennet attends Concord House Party. Colorado Senator Michael Bennet visited New Hampshire Friday as the Democrat consider a presidential run. Following stops in Jaffrey, Manchester, and Nashua, he finished the day at a house party in Concord, where he told primary voters that President Trump needs to be replaced. It's a tragedy that we was elected president of United States, but again, not enough just to beat him. We ought to figure out how to come out on the other side, constructing a new politics that's worth of our children and grandchildren, Bennet said. Bennet has served 10 years in the U.S. Senate. Before that, he was superintendent of the Denver Public School District. If I ever made it to the end of his process, I guarantee you there will not have been a president who's focused on more than education, he said. Friday's House party was held in the same home that hosted an event with then Senator Barack Obama during his first White House run. New Hampshire is the only place in the world where you get to meet every candidate, Bennett said. Bennett said he will decide if he will run for president in the next few weeks. Buttigieg calls for action on climate change, abolishing Electoral College. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Adam Sexton.
In conversation with the candidate, New Hampshire voters asked Pete Buttigieg how he'd match up with President Donald Trump on a debate stage.
We need to make sure that this debate isn't about him. One of the things I've noticed is that all the critical attention that goes his way, he has a way of just kind of devouring it and absorbing it and growing even bigger from it. But in many ways, we have to talk about a world where he's going to come and go. Because in my view, a presidency like this doesn't just happen. Somebody like him would not have even come within cheating distance of the presidency unless there were profound problems in our economy and our democratic system that made people, people where I live, for example, angry enough to vote to burn the house down.
Buttigieg is the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, the town where he grew up. He became emotional describing the recent loss of his father.
One thing I learned about it was the closeness of our family. Sorry, you're taking me to a tough place. The importance of my marriage. My husband absolutely just propped our family up. Helped my father in his last days, helps my mother right now, helps me.
Buttigieg wants to take dramatic action to address climate change. He also favors a public option on health care and abolishing the Electoral College in favor of a national popular vote for president.
So I believe there's a lot of voter apathy as a consequence of the Electoral College. There are tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions of Americans who get the message most years that their vote doesn't matter.
Some New Hampshire voters getting their first look at Buttigieg feel he could stand out in the primary field.
I felt he was truly genuine. I asked him a personal question and he responded with tears in his eyes, and it was just like, this is like a real person. And I was sort of actually kind of beyond impressed.
Adam Sexton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Senate passes bill to remove Exit 11 toll in Merrimack. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Erin Phalo.
The state Senate unanimously passed a bill to get rid of a set of tolls in Merrimack. The bill proposes removing the toll booth off of Exit 11 of the Everett Turnpike. In a statement, Democratic Senator Shannon Shanley of Amherst says for too long, the people of Merrimack have borne an unfair burden of tolling on the Turnpike system. The bill now heads to the Senate Finance Committee.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And President candidate Bernie Sanders speaks in Concord, New Hampshire at noon today at the Garboni Conference Center. And a reminder, this Tuesday is town meeting 2019, on this coming Tuesday, a lot of towns will be voting for town election and school elections this coming Tuesday in New Hampshire. National Security Advisor says Trump is as clear can be on defense of ISIS. White House National Security Advisor John Bolton told This Week co-anchor Martha Raddatz Sunday that President Donald Trump is as clear as can be when discussing the defeat of Islamic State. And if you want to watch that on This Week on This Week on ABC News, you can tune in on Sunday on ABC News on WMUR TV at noontime to watch This Week with George Stephanopoulos. And we will share the link with you if you want to read the full article and watch a video of it. And that's it for this edition of Politics with Riley King. I hope you all enjoyed this edition of Politics with Riley King. Have a great Sunday, everyone. See you back here next Sunday for another edition of Politics with Riley King. Goodbye, everyone.